All right. All right, YouTube, what's happening? Sorry, got a little frog in my throat this morning. There we go. We've got another Benchmade knife, and this is from the Apex Pass Around group. This actually was provided by one of our members, Zach Stuff, so make sure you go check out his channel. He's a big Benchmade guy. Lives up there in Oregon, right by him, I believe, so got tons of good Benchmades. So he sent this one out for everyone to check out, this is the new Freek for this year. Some have been calling it the Super Freek. Really, it's just the 560-BK-1 is the model number, but it is a big upgrade from the last year's Freek with the FRN, whatever kind of handle material they used. It was a little different. It was actually really grippy. I had the mini Freek. I never had the large Freek because this is a little bit bigger knife for me. So, but let's go ahead and get into the specs real quick. You have an overall length of 8.46. Blade is 3.6 inches long. M4 steel on that one. You got a drop point blade with a hollow grind, and you have a Cerakoted black blade. 4.86 long in the handle. You have a handle thickness of 0.62, so it's long and thick. And this one's made of a G10 with like a black and gray G10 that they've done before, and I think some other knives. Weight's 4.3 ounces, so pretty light for such a big knife. It is also, obviously that's because of the axis lock, and you do have the option to do tip up, left or right hand carry on this guy. One of the things I really like about this is the red liners inside the G10, as well as the red barrel spacers. Why they didn't do the red thumb stud, though, is kind of weird, right? Because they could have. They've done them on this knife, the 940 1701, right? So, all right, guys, so that's the basic specs on this guy. So let's talk about how, you know, fit and finish, the usual stuff. But before we do that, actually, well, here's some size comparisons. So there's the 940, which you can tell the 940 is pretty good amount smaller in the handle, but mostly where it's quite a bit thinner, both in thickness this way and in just overall. So a lot more EDCable, in my opinion, the 940. Here it is next to a Hinderer XM18 3.5 inch, and it's a little bit longer in the handle there too than the Hinderer. And how about the Cold Steel 8015? This one should be more around the same size. I mean, the 8015 actually has a little bit longer handle, but about the same blade length on that guy. So quite a bit lighter for the Benchmade, and I think thickness this way is going to be about the same. Yeah, these are about the same thickness. So both big, beefy, overbuilt folders, you know. One with and they both have ambidextrous locks, so that, you know, that's actually a good comparison. Is you have one-handed opening with the Freek, you have one-handed opening with the Cold Steel. So good size comparison and good comparison and good price comparison, because they're about the same. I mean, actually the 8015 is a little bit less expensive even than the Freek, but you do have M4 steel on this, which is an upgrade from CPM S35. So, alrighty, let's get into the basics here. Fit and finish is good on this one, and I say good on this one because we all know that sometimes this can vary with Benchmade. With actually a lot of companies, not just Benchmade, but this one had really good centering out of the box. Still looks like no, that's actually dead center. So you got a nice centering on there. You got a very smooth action. No blade play on there at all. I'd say the fit and finish on this one, the grinds are really good, is excellent. So this is one of those Benchmades that you get and you're like, yeah, this is what it should be, right? For the $190 price tag. So great fit and finish on this guy. Really, like I said, I love the G10. Nice upgrade from the other Freek, and then you have the nice red liner. It's just a really good, nice pop of color. I really like that. But I'm a big kind of a sucker for black and red, and hence the 940. Ergonomics are actually really good. So it's a big knife. I feel like the handle is a lot bigger than it needs to be, because I mean. But you do have a 3.6 inch blade, but you could probably shorten this handle by a titch in the back. But it does have very good ergonomics. It feels very comfortable in hand. it's got the thumb wraps in the right, pretty much the right spot, and it has this gray jimping right here, so you really get your hand locked in there. For me, it's a little thick in the handle. You know, it's like 0.6 inches, I think is what, yeah, 0.6. So it's a little thick in the handle for me. I would like it to be a little bit thinner in the handle, and it would feel better in my hand. But overall, for such a large knife, it does have good ergonomics. So this could be a good, you know, really good working knife, because it's got a nice big handle. And if you got big hands, this is definitely a good knife for you. No hot spots that I could feel anywhere really at all. I do, now we'll talk about the quad clip later. Aesthetics, how does it look? I think it looks handsome. It's a really good looking knife. A lot of people don't like coated blades. I don't know if they do M4 though, that's not coated, just because of the rust factors. I know a lot of companies do M4 still, you know, like I know Blade HQ's done some of their Spyderco's, their exclusive Spyderco's in a, you know, satin finish blade, but you just have to be careful of the rust on it. You can just oil it and be fine. I mean, I guarantee if you just put some EDCI on it, you'd be ready to roll. So, but I believe the M4 Freek only comes with coated blades, so could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. But otherwise, it looks good though. It matches it. It's Cerakoted, so that's an interesting choice of finish. You know, you're seeing that. That's a huge, used widely in the firearms industry on firearms, and it should hold up just fine on a knife. Action. How's the action? The action is actually really good. It's, you know, drops shut pretty much, and it flicks open really easily, and you can do that action, and you can, you know, slow roll it. But if you let that release that XX lock, it's pretty much not quite drop free, but really nice, really smooth. Here's a test. So yeah, it's definitely not drop free shut like some. I don't know if this one is. I think I had to tighten this one down so it wouldn't, but it almost does drop free. So, but yeah, good action on the Freek for sure. The sliceability, how does it cut? Well, that's actually one area that I was a little disappointed with this knife, and I figured it might be a little thicker behind the edge just because it's a more like hard use, you know, folder. But it actually came. Now it came to me, now guaranteed. Taking into consideration, this came from the pass around, so it's been through a few hands. I'm definitely not the first person to have it, and so it could have just been dulled by use. But it's cutting paper right now, but not extremely well. Kind of almost rips through it. And I did my usual cardboard test on it, and it didn't do horrible, but it didn't do great. Now it could be two things. It could be that the edge is kind of dull. It's not. That could be a huge part of it. And then the second thing could be because it's kind of thick behind the edge, right? So let's see. I wouldn't think this knife would be thick behind the edge, but it's 0.0295 behind the edge, so it's not horrible. It's not as bad as that Gerber fastball was. 0.027 up front. A little thicker back here probably. 0.029. So it's not the thinnest knife behind the edge, but it's not bad for kind of a harder use folder. You should have a pretty good slicing with this knife. It's got that nice hollow grind, so I think if it had a good edge on it, it could have done a lot better. So we'll take that in consideration. It's still not very slicey, but when you look at a knife this big, here's a comparison though. The 8015, man, it was a cardboard slicing machine, which was crazy, right? Because it's such a thick blade and thick blade stock. And I think behind the edge, it's not exactly thin. Oh, it's really thick behind the edge. 0.0365 actually. So why did the Cold Steel do so good? Well, it came razor sharp for one thing. And then they have really good, they're known for their good edge geometry. So there's could be a lot of things that go into play, not just how thin it is behind the edge. But typically if the knife is sharp from the factory and it has a nice thin edge, it's going to slice through that cardboard like nothing. So the 8015 is one of those anomalies that I was actually shocked at because I knew it was going to be a pretty thick and beefy knife, but it cuts really well. So I think the M4, the Freek could do the same if it just had a better edge on it. How does it carry? So this is going to vary because the clip it comes with is what we used to call, or still call probably in the knife community, the dick clip. And all you got to do is swap to the Contigo clip. I've got a bunch of these, and Benchmade used to send these for free. I don't know if they do anymore. There was something I heard that Benchmade may not be sending clips for free anymore. I don't know. I feel like if you buy one of their knives and don't love this type clip, they should offer this deep carry clip, or just start putting it on all the same knife. I don't know why they don't just use this clip on all their knives. It's one of the best deep carry clips out there, in my opinion. And it would make this knife a heck of a lot better, especially for its size, because it is a pretty big knife. And with this kind of clip, it's not going to carry very deep at all. You're going to have that much of your knife sticking up. So it's still pretty lightweight as far as carry goes, so that's good. And it's not terribly, I mean, it's decently thick in this dimension. Let's see, what is this dimension? I know a lot of people actually are concerned about this, so that's why I kind of do this dimension. Your width in your pocket is 1.4 inches, so almost 1.5 inches. Let's do a comparison to, well, let's do the 940. Huge difference. Huge difference. You're barely over an inch there. Barely. I mean, but that's a slim knife, right? How about the Hinder? See, about the same as the Freek. And the 80-15 is going to be even bigger, I believe. Oh, yeah. Nah, it's about the same, 1.58. So about the same thickness in the pocket. So these larger knives are a good comparison to the Freek. Very good. That's how they carry. So I think if with that deep carry clip though, makes a big difference. But that's not, you know, not everyone loves deep carry. So value $190 is, I think the map pricing on this. I think I'm pretty close anyway. Let's see. And we know how Benchmade has their map pricing, so it should be the same anywhere you look. Yeah, $191.25. So considering that it's made in the U.S., that it's got M4 steel, and you know they upgrade the handle with G10 and you know the red and everything, I think it's actually a pretty good deal. You know, considering the size of the knife that you get, the M4 steel. But I mean, look at this 80-15 with the revolutionary Scorpion lock, the very similar materials, G10. S35 is a little bit, you know, like I said, M4 is a little better depending on what you're trying to do as far as edge retention goes. But this one's about $150 or less typically. So, you know, there's a good size comparison. And there kicks on my furnace, so this is a good time to end the video. So overall, I do like the Freek. I like the mini Freek a lot more. That's just more my style. I would absolutely love if Benchmade came out with this knife in this configuration with this G10 and everything the same, M4 still, but in a mini size, and I would buy it in a heartbeat. So, all right, guys, that's gonna wrap up this video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.